Okay, let's talk about this new functionality, this new extension, but we need to talk about some background before to explain this extension. For example, uh, there are people who ask for some kind of functionality about to create purchase order from job planning lines. For example, I found one in BC Ideas talk about we need the ability to transfer the job planning lines from a job code to a purchase order. Often with jobs, the job code planning lines end up being the basis for a purchase order. Having the ability to auto-create purchase orders similar to the auto-create for the sales order would eliminate double entry. Okay, Microsoft is telling, okay, thanks for your feedback. We are check if we can do this in a future release. Another, create POs, purchase order from jobs. Create the ability to create purchase order directly from the job planning lines. Same idea as create sales invoice. The real thing is that Microsoft declined those requests from the people, from the people. So I think this is a good thing because with this functionality, we can help the customers to create the purchase order from the project's model directly. Okay, I know we can create a purchase order from the order planning using, the planning lines, put the items there. But the problem is that we cannot add uh, service items or expenses like GL accounts to work with the order planning because order planning only looks for the items type item, inventory items. So I think, okay, we can create an extension with this to give the customer the ability to plan the items inventory from inventory and non-inventory items and put some expenses and other things like text. Okay. Also, uh, if you remember, when we use items, we can set a particular vendor or we can put any other vendor in the related item vendor table. For example, here I am putting this purchase. I can select here a vendor, but maybe I want to put many vendors. So we can put a vendor here and the vendor ID number and these things. So when I call this project item for a project, for example, let me show you. We create a new project. Let's create a new one, new demo, new, sorry, new demo project for video and select a customer. Well, let's select this one, 3000, and create a new job task, the 100. And for this line, job planning lines, let's create something. For example, for this line, budget line, I don't care about the date. I need to select first the item, then put the item. Let's select this new product for the project, item for this project, and let's check. If you see, I don't put here a vendor. Okay, let's take another item. Remember, project item number one. Oh, the new functionality is going to take the vendor number from the vendor item related table. Also, if you check, the system is filling this create purchase order boolean here and this planning lines dimensions. This is the global dimension one. This is the global dimension two for this company. Let's put some quantity, 333, and put a cost as a cost per unit, 111. So, as I told in the first place, we can use the order planning in order to get this information. For example, calculate plan, and let's wait for the system to finish of generating lines. And if we check here for jobs, only jobs or projects, if you check, we have the job, this job, and this one, the P60. This is a new one, 333 in purchase. So I can select here my vendor. Okay, you can do this. Why do you need or why do you design a new extension for this? Okay, let's show you. Let me show you. For example, here I'm going to use another item. Which item? This, project item service. Let me show you some difference, the existing difference between this and this one. This is an item, an inventory item. Let's check, edit. If you see here, you select inventory. Let's go to the other, to the next. This is a service item, okay? I want to put this one in this line. And let me put 222. And the cost, 5.5. And finally, or at last, let me put some GL account here and let me select this one. Sorry for the Spanish because this is a Mexican company. Let's look for a expense. This is electricity, energy. And let's put here energy and electricity, for example. Okay? And the vendor, let's put the 30,000 again. And one, and let me put here as unit cost 10,000. This is an expense. This and this are for the same vendor. Okay? Let's check the order planning. Order planning. With the order planning functionality, let's calculate again. Okay? Jobs. If you see, we can only get this information. Which is this information? The item information. So, if you see order planning doesn't work with items, service items or expenses. Okay. For the requisition worksheet, let's check. If you run this, if you see here, we cannot select or we cannot get that information. Let's manage, delete all, and again, carry out on, calculate plan for this date range. Okay, let's see. Maybe we can get the item, but item 1024, as you can see, is not doesn't have here a planning reordering policy. For example, if I put here order, maybe because I had an order in the job lines, maybe the requisition worksheet is going to pull this. But the problem is I don't need to put that in the replenishment system or whatever I want. Let me show you what happens if I put a project item service. Yes, I can put this, but the problem isn't that. The problem is I put it manually. The requisition worksheet calculate plan functionality doesn't bring me this, so I need to put them. The same thing for this, the GL account. I can create here the purchase order, but the problem is I don't need to do this manually. I don't want it. So when I create this, I only need to think to make this. Put my items. Maybe I going to quote to make a job quote here and send to the customer, and the customer say, "Okay, the project is yours. Please send me your uh, sales order or your project, or let's sign the contract, whatever you want. But I need to purchase these ones. I need to purchase this information, these items, this item service, these expenses." So with this extension, if you see here, I create some another fields, and let's create the purchase order. Okay, 43, 44, 43. This is the line number one, and this is the line number two, or 10,000 and 20,000. Okay, let's check. Let's check it. Let's go to the purchase order. And with the purchase order, let's order with this one. And the first one has two lines, as you remember. The first line, if you see, I'm putting the project item. This is inventory item. The item reference, the number, my location. If you see, I don't fill the job number, job task, or job planning. Why? Because I don't want the auto consumption when I receive this. I want that these items went to the principal location code and make an storage, maybe the bin code, whatever you want, put away, the picking process, and I want to consume this with the project journal, not automatically with the reception, the purchase reception. I want my project journal to consume this. But this is different because this is an expense. And if you remember, this account is electricity and heat. But I put it in the project energy and electricity. So I keep the description from the job. And here, I really want that this project get this information when I post this reception. My purchase cost, my purchase line, amount line. And let me show you one thing. For example, my planning lines dimensions was put here. Also, I have here a new project. Okay, a project number. Yes, this is related with the project number, the project task, and the project planning line. So this is related with the project. Also, if we check these lines, well, not these lines, this project, for example, let's go to the project. In the jobs, let's go to the jobs. In the project 60, let's check it. Job, relations, dimensions. And if you see, we have some predefined dimensions, but check this. Project. I have a dimension called project. And when I create a project, I create a new dimension and assign that dimension to this job or this project. So when I make the purchase, I have some kind of relation if I want. For example, let's go to the purchase orders again, and first of all, I need to put here in GL setup. Let me put here this one, no, slash setup, general ledger setup, and let's check it out. Okay, project. And I forgot to set up this first in the first place. But when you create your purchase line from the jobs, the job dimension is assigned to this purchase order lines. Let's check it out. I don't remember. I don't believe that I create that in this purchase orders because I just assigned the project code. So let's put it manually. Okay, it's manually. Let's go to the another purchase order, not the last one, this the previous one. Let me check this one and put the dimension manually here. If you see the expense was written by the button action, but in this case I'm going to put this manually. So let me check one thing. Let me put here receipt 1 and then went to the other, to the 44 and receipt 2. Okay. Now let me show you the second one, not the first one with 2 lines. This is only 1 line and this is item service. The item service, I can receive this as a expense for this project. I can select this or not, that depends on what I'm looking for, but in a future you can add this as a automatic consumption for this job. Okay, let me remove this warning because I don't want it, and let's check the final thing. Why this? Because I want to check if this project has this boolean on or off. Why I'm putting this to false? Because I don't want to see any warning when I make the reception of my purchase orders. Okay, let's see again to the purchase order, and let's take this one. This is for my job journal, for my job 60. I want to consume this directly to these ones. Before this, let me show you another thing. I want to release this one. Okay, maybe I make a approval process, request an approval, then receive my approval, and this order is going to change its status to release. The other one, no, not yet, at least. If you check this, I have here 6 purchase orders, 43, 42. What happened with the 44? Oh, this is released. So I have here the release. Now let me receive this one. Post, receive an invoice. Okay, dimension value, okay. Let me remove this, dimension value code is grande. You need to put this in medium. Okay, let me open this again, reopen, you know, is part of the previous setup. And let me again go to this one and select the 44. Then let me move this to medium and post, receive an invoice. Okay, I'm receiving this, and no, I don't want to see the posted invoice. Check my receipts. Let's see the last one just to check. Okay, I have a reception on 22. Let's see my purchase invoice. I don't have anyone here. I don't remember what happened here because I have a filter, but I don't see create from project. Okay, and let's see the last one just to check if it's this one. No. This is purchase invoice for expenses only. Yeah, I remember that. Well, let's see the job. The 60. This line, if you see, we have actual cost of my 222 items, 55 per item for this project service. Okay, I got it. Now, let's see the other one. Let's take another purchase order, and let's put this one and select the 43, and let's put this to post. I'm receiving this item in my warehouse, my location. Let's look for the items. Where is the items? Items. Go to the items and select the 1024, and if you see we have 33300 here because I have my inventory entry here as my purchase reception for this project, for this item. And let's check if we have here the project number, the project task, the project line, the project code. This is my dimension, this is my linking information. And now, how can I consume some of these items for a job? Let's go to the job journals, open the standard journal. I don't care about this. This is my consumption one, job number 60. Let's go to the 60. Job task 100. And item, which item? The 1024. Okay. Location code, let's put this in principal. And let's check for one thing here. If you see, I have my dimensions, my project code. I'm going to put here, I think 100. But if I go to this field, applies to entry, I have here the whole information. Maybe I have another purchases for another project. So I need to control this one to say I want to consume from this layer, for this inventory layer. So I select this one and post this. The problem is the dimension. Remember, this needs to be medium. Post, yes. So let's go to the job again, job lines. And let's check for this line and look for the cost. I have here my energy and electricity because when I post my purchase invoice, this is going to be assigned to these project lines because it's auto consumption. The same here, but this is different because I added this by a job journal instead of auto consumption. And we have this project code for everything. So if you see, we can manage everything, or at least what happens, or maybe thinking in another in some other things. For example, and this is I'm going to put this in my blog as this video. Sorry for the English, but I'm practicing. It's the same thing that we do, but I'm displaying some code here. For example, create purchase order job plan from the job plan. And first of all, I need to check which are the vendors, because maybe I have the same vendor in 2, 3, or 4 lines. So I create here a temporary table to make a filter, and then create with that filter, create my purchase orders. And with the purchase orders, I can create my purchase lines. Okay. If you see, it's something like I do recently. But let's go to the other scenarios. What happens for assembly or production items? If you see, I'm putting here, besides the vendor number when the item replenishment system is purchased, what happens where this is assembly or production order? Then I need to fill this and create my productions order or productions or assembly orders with this. I can create it too instead of running my order planning. So I don't need to run 2 processes. Let's check about the assembly orders. Let's assembly orders, and let's check it. If you see here, I have here a boolean for created from project, and in the header I have the project number, tax number, and planning line number. So I can link this and know why I create this assembly order for which project. The same here, the same is for the film planet production order. Let's check it out. Film planet orders, the same boolean and the same fields. So even the last version, 24 in this moment, of Business Central has an assembly from project. I do the same with without the order planning. Okay. So this is the extension. I'm putting the code in my GitHub, so you can reach out this project and modify or extend or change in the form that you want. For example, if you check here, I'm putting my tables, purchase setup. If you see here, I'm adding this one. Why? Because in the future, I want to create purchase quotes instead of purchase order, and or create a worksheet lines. That depends on my company process, my internal process. Another thing, for example, let's check it. The default purchase location. Even we can assign a location for the planning lines. Maybe I leave it empty. Why? I don't know. Maybe I make the mistake. Maybe it's an expense, and I want to select a location for that. I can define this here. This is because I want to use or not use assemblies or production products. Maybe I don't want to, but if I use it, I want to that the code can run and make some decisions for me. If you see, this is my temporary table. I don't care. And let's see the extensions. Right now, at this date and moment, I extend a lot of tables, but not so much. Maybe I don't count. Maybe 12. You count for me. But if you check, I'm using the new development rules, namespaces. So for this, I create for the purchase job planning lines, the purchase order number, the line number, the reception number, see? Because I can control the receptions. By the way, let's see that. And let's go to the project. And if you check the last lines, the last columns of these lines, let's go. I have my purchase order number, I have my purchase reception, and my purchase invoice. So I can see here my invoice. The problem with the order, the source order, is that the system deletes that. So I need to change to the archive purchase orders. Maybe. I don't want to do that in this moment. But you can see here the purchase invoice. And with this, you can check the amount for the purchase line and the amount for the total cost, and maybe make some comparisons between those values, just to have or to check if I'm receiving a benefit or I'm losing in this line. Okay, so this is why I added this information here. Also, the vendor number. Check it out. If we have a GL account, we need to select the vendor, or if it's item, I can create another things. It's the same, but the text, no. Also, we have a code, we have some code here to look for the location code for this item for this vendor, or the related item vendor information. That depends on which is the table that I'm using. Okay, and validate shortcuts, dimensions, everything. Also for the purchase lines, I have this extension: project task, project planning line, and create from project because I want to know how many lines was created from project. For example, let's check it out. Let me find where I put this. This is purchase line. I'm going to put those lines that was created from project, different from the manual purchase lines or for requisition worksheet. These are my purchase lines created from projects. Okay. This is why I put this to create the other page. Reception, invoice, header extensions for purchase, header, purchase reception, the same. I create this like a queue. Why this queue? Because this queue was used in this purchases, assembly, production, and I have this information added to other tables. Okay? Which tables? I extend job queue. Then purchase assembly header. You saw recently uh, those fields in my purchase, in my assembly header, and my production header. The same here is for the history, posted assembly headers, and this is an extension that I put in item ledger entry. Why? Because if you remember, when I select this field, let me show you. From jobs, job journals, and when I edit journal, select this field, this applies to entry field. I want to see here this information because I want to control the inventory layer for this consumption. Product number, product task, product line. This is what I show you here. The same is for value entry. Not only item ledger entry, also value entry, and I need this information in item journal line. Why? Because this is my subscriptions. For example, when I post job journal, when I post consumption, this information travels from my job or my project to this item journal line, and then is finally added in the item ledger entry and value entry. Okay, this is for the consumptions, purchase post, and when I post my journals. I'm thinking to add in another events, but I need to check in which ones. For example, when you post an assembly, but I need to check if this of the assembly output is covered with this. I don't know. I need to check, or you need to check if you want to add that subscription or that behavior. Now, if you see, this is my extension, my table extension, my pages, and my extensions in many pages, or just to check. For example, this is job to purchase value entries. Okay, this means that if I went to the item, let's go to the item, and then in the items, let's go into this item 1024 and related history entries, value entries, and let's go to this. And if you check it, I have this. Okay, maybe I have a lack of information here because I don't put that information. This is the kind of stuff that I left for you if you want to extend. I giving you the code if you want it, so extend by yourself what you need to do. Okay, ledger entries, the same thing, the same lack of information here. Maybe you can do that, but if you check, this is my dimension. This is very important. Okay, let's check finally my code units. In my code units, I use the new standards, create my purchase order, my purchase header, okay, my purchase line. Here, this code, don't worry about this. This is because if I have the line 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 with the same vendor, with this I declare this vendor filter table as temporary, put my vendor, if you find it, delete the last one and put the new one, and repeat until you finish. With this, with this table, you can go to the purchase header, create my header, and filter my job planning lines. This is what I do here because I don't have a call else like SQL Server to avoid duplicates, to remove duplicates. So I create that. Create purchase header, mark purchase lines. That depends on GL account, item. I don't care if the item is an inventory or service item. I send it to the information, to the lines. If you check this information, I need to add this here because I want to put that information for automatic consumptions. Sorry, this is for another thing. I need to check here. This is a idea that I just have because the item, if the item is service, you need this code plus these lines if you use service item. But if you use inventory item, you don't need those lines. This is the next change in this code. Here, my assembly orders or my production orders with some mark, you run this, you don't need to run again this line. Okay, this is what I mark my lines. Maybe you can find another way, but this is my way right now. My subscription, as you see, when I create my vendors, when I create my jobs, my journals, and now I'm going to finish this video uh, telling you, if you go to my blog and look for this document, blog post, you can find the link to the GitHub to get this code if you want to use it. It's free for all of you, but you need to finish them or modify to your needs. Okay, I don't going to charge any cost, so it's at your own risk if you want to use it or if you want to download it and modify it. Thanks, and sorry for my English, but I'm telling you, I'm practicing. See you in another video.